What's up, y'all? Back out in the hammock again. Got me a day off. Let's talk some Amico. I started thinking, like, are we beating a dead horse here? Are we going too far? Do we need to keep covering it? Do we need to keep talking about it? And the answer is yes. I mean, we do. I mean, things keep happening, and the way that the company's being ran is so insane. And here's what I'm thinking about. Here's my thought process. So let's say you got this little old lady. She's living off her Social Security. Her husband's passed away. She's got his pension. She's on a fixed income, let's say, for example. Um, and the grandkids like to come over and visit, but when they're there, they tend to sometimes get bored because grandma doesn't have the latest video game system. She doesn't have her PS5 or PS4 or the Xbox One or the Series X. She just doesn't have anything to do. And when they get tired of playing outside, which kids do, they'll play outside for a little bit, but they want to play their video games. It's been like that since I was a little kid. But let's say, grandma is in the market for a video game system. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Maybe when she was younger, she bought her kid an Atari, or heck, maybe even an Intellivision. So what does grandma decide to do? Grandma goes online looking up for what kind of a system will kids like. But grandma's also thinking, I don't like those violent games. I want to try to get something fun. Maybe I'll play with them too. And let's say she stumbles across the Intellivision Amico. The whole narrative about the Amico was, for a while, and it still is quite a bit, super positive. Everything is great. Everything is amazing. Even in the face of problems that it has, it's perfect. It's great. It's so awesome for families, and kids are gonna love it. So grandma doesn't see any of the negative stuff about it. The phone is ringing right now. Decline that. I don't know if that messes up the film. So grandma takes the plunge, and decides to purchase an Intellivision Amico. And it says, I know OEB Pete had a video today, at least for Amazon in Canada. You can go ahead and pre-order the Amico, and it has a release date of the October 10/10. Still showing that. We're not going to get to that point. That's not going to happen. That release date is not going to happen, at least not for everyone. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. So grandma gets bamboozled by the fact that, there's nothing but positive. All she sees is the positive side of the Intellivision Amico. As people are like, oh, look at the kids are having so much fun, as they're filming them and editing it in a way to where it looks like it's great. Doesn't show the problems with the controllers, doesn't show the syncing issues, doesn't address any of that. It's literally just all positive, all great things. So grandma, not knowing what the hell she's doing on her fixed income, goes out and decides to go ahead and pre-order this thing or whatever, and gets it. I would say that she would go into the store and buy them for the retail, which that could still happen too. Like when she sees it at the store or whatever, she's like, I kind of remember Intellivision. She doesn't know Sony PlayStation. She doesn't know the Xbox or whatever. She might not even be familiar with Nintendo. Like she's just too old. So she spends her hard-earned money, because she's earned it throughout her life, on a video game system that we can't even be for certain is going to be around in the next year or two. You can't be for certain that there's going to be support for it, and that it's even actually going to, be there. Like, have games that even come out for it, that continue to come out for it, not just the original few shit games that come out on it. So where are they left? Like where are those people left? Where's that poor grandma and her grandkids left that, came out, spent her money? She doesn't have money for anything else. And you know what? they missed out on. You know what? She could have purchased that the Nintendo Switch, which has way better games. She could have gotten that to where she could play with her kids, or even if she wants to play with them, she doesn't have to. But there's plenty of games on the Nintendo Switch that are simple enough for an old woman to play. Okay? And if there's not any kind of negative comments, if there's not like another side to this story to show like that, she could look up and say, hey, maybe this isn't the thing that I should get, or maybe I should wait and see if it actually comes out and what it's going to be, because she's thinking, hey, this thing's going to come out in October for the kids. It never shows up. It's never there. Or maybe when it does come out, it's a buggy crap mess. And the way that the company is being ran by its CEO, it's going to fail. It's going to fall apart. I mean, the guy, Tommy Tallarico, is literally insane. And if you don't provide that side of the story so that your regular person can understand that it's not all fucking roses with this thing. It's not going to be perfect. It's not as great as they say it's going to be. I mean, there's some actual problems there. I mean, that's what you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have two sides to a story so that people can make up their own mind. And it just seems like, I was kind of late to this side of the story. I mean, I saw it early on when Pat and Ian were talking about the Intellivision Amico, so I'm aware of it. I watched the whole Coleco Chameleon thing disaster happen. But as far as like what's been going on in the trenches with some of these smaller YouTubers, Retro Bro, Cyrus Martin, all these people, I wasn't really there in the beginning, but I've been going back and doing a little bit of research. And most of this shit talking, most of the problems resulted or started from the Amico side of it. Tommy, and his little minions, like going out there and just literally trying to control the narrative of this system. And people can sit here and say, why do you care? Why are you doing this? You're mean. You're a bully. Not really, man. It's like, it seems to me like you guys were the bullies first, and you were so desperate to have everything your way, have everything look perfect and look great. And Tommy just seems like he cannot take any level of criticism. And like, for example, let's look at the current state of the media, of the way things are. Now, whether or not you liked Donald Trump, yes or no, whether or not you liked him, you have to admit that over the last 4 years during his presidency, you saw nothing but negative press. I mean, unless you tune into Fox News, which, they have problems too. They're not perfect either. I mean, they have their biases as well. But you watch the media and it's nothing but negativity. I mean, Donald Trump could literally fall into something, and at some point he's just, because of the odds, going to have to do something right. But no matter what was done, no matter how he did anything, it was always wrong. I mean, how are you wrong 100% of the time? At some point you're going to just fuck up and do something right. But now you watch the coverage of Joe Biden from the media, and it's nowhere near the same. It's positive, because the media has their bias. They just did a poll recently on the trustworthiness of the media. It was like less than 20% or something like that of the public actually trust the media. And that is sad. That's a sad state that we live in, that we cannot literally turn on the news and get like an unbiased, objective coverage of a situation. Okay? And nobody trusts it. That's exactly what is going on with this Intellivision Amico situation. It's like the coverage was nothing but glowing and great, and how awesome Tommy is, and the Intellivision, I've just loved it so much since I was a little boy, and now it's like it's great. Everything they do is perfect. That's untrustworthy, man. That's you can't trust that. You have to have the other side to this issue where it's pointing out the things that are wrong. And I think that's really the main reason that people got into this, is because they just saw how like the coverage was so overwhelmingly glowing and positive. And you know, Tommy himself has not done Intellivision any favors with his behavior, with his past. I mean, I've looked into it some. I haven't been there. I have started going to some of the Reddit pages and reading some of the things, and it's crazy. You know, I mean, he's not helping his company, and that's the thing. Is it's like you're so nutty on all of the negativity, like with Pat and Ian and all this, or anyone that dares to criticize the Intellivision Amico. I mean, your CEO is a nut job, and it's like, I have no faith that this company is going to be ran appropriately and that it's going to be around for a while because of the insanity that your CEO brings to it. He's a wild card. I grew up in a family that started their own business. My mom, she started a very successful wedding business. They ended up owning multiple properties, and they did all of the catering. I mean, they turned my parents into millionaires, and you know, they live comfortably. I don't have any of that money. I don't see that because that's not how I was raised. My parents don't just give me shit. I have to work. I have to help. I mean, they've certainly helped me out here and there, but they're not. I'm no trust fund baby. I don't have shit. I have to work. I mean, sure, maybe one day I'll have a decent inheritance, but for now, I'm not living the high life. I mean, the money that I have, the house that I own, the car that I drive, is all based on my work, you know, and whatnot. But aside from that, whatever, I saw how a business is supposed to be run, and my mom and her business partner, they did not get involved in drama. If there was ever any like negative coverage of her business, they just dealt with it. You know what they did? They tried to improve and get better. And that's what's so silly about all of this. I mean, it's like they're just like feeding off this negativity. You know what? You want this fucking negativity to go away? Stop feeding into it. Stop giving people a reason to make these videos and make fun of you. And because that's my thing, is it's like, you're so insane. I don't want to see people who don't really understand video games wasting their money, who can't afford to be wasting their money. You know, like I said, the example of this little old lady who's got a fixed budget. She doesn't need to be tricked into buying the system, because that's who your market is. It's like you're going after the people who don't seem to know what the fuck is going on. I mean, you're going after people who, you've said it yourself, are non-gamers, and they're going to buy into this thing. And you can't even say for certain that you're going to be around. You can't even say for certain when the system is coming out, even though that's pretty shitty that it says on Amazon that it's coming out 10/10. Because it's not coming out. I mean, from what it seems like, you only have these 3 working systems that you keep bringing around to the Retro Bro Party, to the Crayola experience. You have 3 systems, and here we are in July. What do we got? August, September, October. Literally less than 3 months, this system is supposed to be out. And it's not coming out. It's not coming out. And it's like, OEB Pete. I watched Darius Truxton's weekly video on OEB Pete, which are great. They're funny to watch. You know, and OEB Pete is desperate for a soft launch. He's like, let's just do a soft launch. It's going to be a soft, flaccid dick launch is what it's going to be, because the systems are not ready. Soft dick. It's going to be pathetic. Nothing is ready, and that's Amico's. These low-level YouTuber guys are Amico's biggest problem right now, because in the past they've been their greatest ally, because they've been there going out talking shit to everyone, defending everything. Oh, Amico's perfect. Amico's perfect. But now you're at the point where this thing is going to come out. It needs to be delayed because it's not ready. But the cult is so desperate to get their hands on it. They want to get paid now. You know, they've been doing this for free, basically, just for the fact that they can get the inside scoop on the Amico, and they want their hands on the system. They went first. They're like, well, we should at least get the system first. And here's the thing: if it does come out, it's going to be so pathetic, such a soft dick system that it's going to have problems. And then that's when the real reviews will start to come in, because people will get their hands on the actual system, which they haven't been allowed to do. At least true reviewers, that's going to actually look at it objective and not just like praise this thing like, my jaw hit the floor when I saw Finnegan Fox. That's what's going to happen. It's going to come out, and people are really going to see it. And I don't think Tommy wants that. I don't think they want to do a soft launch. They want to delay it. But right now, it's like all of your little minions are starting to come for you, because they're like, we want a system, soft launch it. The games aren't ready. You know, it's not ready to come out. The systems aren't ready because they're still claiming there's this bullshit, you know, chip shortage, which they are lucky. They are super lucky that COVID-19 came out right now, because it literally runs cover for them. They can blame everything on COVID-19. I guarantee you they wouldn't have had this thing out even if everything was perfect, if there was no pandemic. There's no proof that this company can be ran normally because of the behavior of your CEO. Most recent CU podcast that Pat and Ian did, they were talking about, you know, Tommy going on and on about after the Pat and them had kind of, you know, had talked negatively about the Intellivision and Tommy himself. All of a sudden, Tommy gets all these death threats, and I made a video. I really didn't want to say that they could be fake, because you never know with death threats. But Pat and Ian they had no problem saying that it's probably fake, because he's playing victim. And he might be. Hell, he might be. And if he is, that's fucking pathetic. I mean, you're the one that's been going out all along, sending out these YouTubers to attack anyone who is negative towards your system, and now you want to turn around and be like, don't hurt me, you know, like. and the cult is starting to kind of act like that too. Like, I watched a video that Cyrus Martin made, and for some reason, before he even started talking, I knew exactly what the fuck he was going to be going on about. It was right after the Crayola experience, and, you know, he was talking about, like, you know, and the thing I really like about this system now, it's the friendship that we've made. The friendship.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
It's not even anymore about talking about, like, because the system is awesome. You know, I'm sure they're still saying that, but now they have that to fall back on to justify their fucking love for this thing. It's because we love the people that are involved with it, and Tommy Tallarico. And Cyrus Martin actually said something along the lines of, like, well, he's like, and Tommy's one of us. Like, even if the system doesn't do well, he's still gonna be here. You know, bullshit. That dude will fucking run from you guys if this thing falls apart, and once it comes out, and then, you know, they're not able to keep games going for it, there's not enough money there to justify it to keep going, and it fails, that dude is gone. That dude is not your friend. He has used y'all to help fight the other YouTubers who have anything negative to say about it, because the dude cannot handle any criticism. He can't. He has to have complete control of the narrative, just like the way the fucking media is today. You know, like, they can't say that anything that Trump did was right, and they have a hard time saying that anything Biden does is wrong. So they want total control of the narrative, and this is exactly the same way that is being done. This whole Amico thing, and that right there, I think, was what really inspired me to want to say something, because I can't stand people that I can't stand the current state of the media. I can't stand that people will just take control of the narrative and try to bully other people into saying anything. Like, it's the same way, like with the way the media is. Like, they're gonna bully you from having any kind of opinion that is not right there with the establishment. They're going to call you a fucking racist. They're going to call you a misogynist. They're going to call you all these things. And that's the exact same playbook that Amico is using. They just trash you to try to shut you up. You know, I mean, like, even, it's been weird. Like, even the little, you know, the videos I've been making. And I understand, you know, I'm actually taking an opinion on something, so I'm going to get some hate for it. But some of the comments that I've got, you know, like, just calling me names, and it hasn't been extreme. It's been small, but I can see, you know, how so many people might have been bullied out from talking about it. I saw this one video that this girl made, Jen, and she was talking about, you know, like, showing all these horrible comments that these people said to her. And I don't know the whole situation. I really don't. I didn't see the video that she had made that was critical. But I'm sure it was probably something just from the other side, showing a different perspective. It wasn't all perfect and glowing. And all these fucking people from the cult just attacked her and said these bad things to her, called her a man, and like all these things. And, you know, that right there is why other people need to stand up and speak the truth. You know, it's like, little old lady out there, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but if you are, go buy a fucking Nintendo. You can guarantee you're going to get the same type of thing. They're family games. You know, they're easy, some easy to play games. There's fun games. There's couch co-op games. And you know what? Nintendo is going to be around in 5 years to still be releasing content for your system. You know, like, there'll probably be a price drop with since the new Switch is coming out. There could be a price drop for the older Switch or whatever, or even if they continue to produce them. I don't know. Buy that for your kids. Your kids are going to love it. And there's some fun games on there too, the grandma, that you can play. And if you're thinking that the games are too expensive, you can go online and buy these same exact cheap games. You know, maybe not the exact same, but they're the same type of games. They're easy to play, and you can guarantee that Nintendo is going to be there to provide support for you. Their CEO is not fucking insane. You know, that's what the whole point of this is, that there should be two sides to this. I should be allowed to say what I want. Have I played the Intellivision Amico? No, I fucking haven't, because it's not been available for me to play. Philadelphia is like 9 hours away from me, so there's no way in hell I'm going to drive all the way on my day off from work just to play a system that I can tell you I know how it plays by watching it. I don't have to play it. The controller is not that fucking amazing to be like, you have to have the controller. Yes, I'm sure Shark is made for the thing, because you can turn the dial in all the directions and biplanes or whatever. I get it. I've played with paddle controllers. I've played with track balls and stuff. I understand how it works, okay? I've played with touch screen things. We all have on our phones. So I get it. I don't need to play it. But that's the thing. I should be able to say the things that we want. We should be able to say the things that we want without some weirdos coming after us, or coming after you and attacking you and trying to silence you. It's bullshit. You know, I'm sick of it. I mean, it's just the way that it's the way the world works now. Like YouTube and Twitter and everything, they want to fucking silence you from having an outside opinion. And I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want. You know, I can talk about this system I want, and I can provide something for people to actually come out and get a second opinion on, where they watch these videos like, it's so great. And I watched a video that Darius recommended. It's a Dead Wing Dork. I had never heard of the guy. He's really funny though. He did a review on the on the Amico, and he roasted it. And you know, he's got a decent following over there, so a lot of people are becoming more aware of it. But he showed a video that I was not aware of on the Intellivision website of people's reaction playing the game. Two of the people fucking reacting and watching and playing the game and acting completely objective are cult members. I saw Cyrus Martin, and then that other guy, what's Brett Weiss or whatever, I can't remember his name. He was one of the ones going on and on in this video about how fucking great the Amico is. And I'm sure it was their kids too. You know, it's like this, it's like a fake narrative that you are spinning by using people, basically your hired cronies. Cyrus Martin, I mean, he's in your fucking club, in your group, and you're showing video of him like, what did he, it was funny because he said his brain, what did he say, his brain was Swiss cheese or something like that playing the game, and the dude, that dead wing dork, mocked him, and it was the funniest thing ever. Like, he has no idea who this Cyrus Martin guy is, but it was just like, even he could tell by saying, the guy's a fucking idiot. Your brain became Swiss cheese. Your brain was melting because of these flash shit games. Like, come on, dude. Like, be honest. Be honest. The games are not that fucking amazing. I can see them with my own eyes. And I saw a thing on Reddit where Tommy said he doesn't want to release the games because people say he doesn't want to show gameplay footage because people are saying that it looks like mobile games, because it fucking looks like mobile games. That's what your system is. Own it, dude. You said from the get-go you're not trying to compete. You know, you're not trying to compete with these other people, and that you're just like some weird, like, in the middle system that's supposed to like enhance other systems, or not enhance, but just fill a niche that really doesn't exist, that I think. I mean, you know, it's like, I don't see what the point is. Like, if I'm gonna have some friends over and we're gonna play some games, you know, like, I'll pop in my fucking Nintendo 64, or we could play Smash Bros or something on the Nintendo Switch. You know, I mean, that's the other thing, lady. Go out, old lady who's on a budget, go buy a Nintendo Wii. You could go to like a GameStop or some used game store, buy a Nintendo Wii. The kids will love that. There's still tons of fun to be had on that system. You know, I mean, it's like, if you really want something for your kids to play, buy a damn Wii. You know, and that's the thing. You know, like the people that are coming and looking for this thing should be able to see both sides, and we should be allowed to see both sides without being, you know, labeled as we're just straight haters. We have it out for Tommy Tallarico. I don't give a fuck about Tommy Tallarico. I just think the way that you're running your company is stupid, and I want to talk about it, and I want to show people that, you know, you can't just get away with trying to bully and control the narrative. Like, there's one of a guy tweeted or something, I don't know where it was released on, one of Tommy's childhood friends, saying that he would like 5 minutes alone in the room with Pat the NES Punk and people like him. What are you gonna do in there 5 minutes alone, you pervert? I mean, that sounds like something weird, dude. Like, you got problems. You have problems, man. Like, trying to say that anyone who has negative things to say about Tommy or the Amico, you're gonna take 5 minutes. Ooh, you're so tough. No one's fucking scared of you, man. Like, no one's scared of you, so shut the fuck up. But that's the thing, man. That's been the whole thing. That's why I'm gonna keep making videos, because that whole situation pisses me off. Bullies piss me off. You know, trying to take control of the narrative and only show it one way, like taking over, that shit pisses me off. I can't even watch fucking news anymore, hardly, because of how much bullshit comes along with the way people are just trying to silence the other side by using name calling and, you know, just basically the most horrible things. Like, how do you defend yourself being called a racist, you know, or a sexist, or a homophobe? You know, how do you defend yourself from that fairly? And you can't. And that's the way that the system is set up, to attack you, say these horrible things, so that if you do, like, well, you know, maybe there's some truth to what the other side is saying as well. Can we not just have the fucking conversation? You know, does it have to just be totally silence? And if you don't think exactly like I do, fuck you, shut up. You know, like, no, I'm willing to have a conversation about why you think the Amico is great. But at the same time, I should be able to have a conversation and say why there could be some problems with it without having to have had the fucking controller in my hand. I can see the problems of this system. I can see that it's overpriced. I can see that your CEO is a nut and is going to could potentially do something that's going to cause this company not to even be in business. I mean, he lied about the whole Jay Allard situation where he said that that dude was who's forever from Microsoft or whatever was actually working for Intellivision, which gives them credibility, you know, for investors, when in fact he now has admitted that guy was never working for them and that he just did some consulting work. And I guarantee you, I know what happened is that guy came around and he started talking to Tommy and saw this thing, and he knew right away, I don't want to be a part of this, because that's what he said. He said that it doesn't fit. So so yeah, it's like things like that. That is why, you know, the conversation needs to be had, because it's not all perfect. It's not all roses, you know, and people should be allowed to see both sides of the story from somebody else's perspective who's not in video games, to realize, man, this thing is way overpriced, and there's a good chance that it may not even be here in a year or two and still continue to be supported. Be smart. Buy a Nintendo Switch. Your kids will thank you. You know, you'll thank yourself because you listened and actually got in with a company that knows what the hell they're doing. Intellivision does not know what they're doing. They are not the same Intellivision from your past. They are just a group of people who were trying to take advantage of that name and the nostalgia factor and release you a system that's not ready. It's crap. It's got crap games. There's definitely problems with it, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, you know, that's all I really have to say now. And, you know, if I think of other things I want to talk about, I will. Because there's other things I do want to talk about, you know, and I thought about making another channel doing this same format where I do talk about politics. So if I do, I'll let you guys know. I don't know if anybody really even cares about politics that much, but, you know, there's a lot of fun drama in that too. But yeah, you know, we need to be able to keep making these videos. We need to point out that the problems with the Amico, so that the consumer gets both sides of the story and not just a fake narrative controlled perfection of a system, because it's definitely not that. Yeah, that's all I think I have to say. Take it easy, everyone.